And the race has begun. For those of you who have not seen a Hat in Time race before, this is timed by in-game timer, not RTA timer. That's mostly to avoid issues with different load times. Hopefully they have pretty similar ones, which just makes life easier, but it really doesn't matter that much. You're going to see the runners do a lot of dive boosting around, making sure they don't jump into everything and try to get out of here as fast as possible. We're having a bit of a slow time getting out of there at 17 seconds. Dylan at a little over 15 seconds. Not a bad time at all. Really quickly here, you're going to see both runners pick up some yarn. That's how they're going to craft their hats. And they need to get 2 yarn here so they can craft the sprint hat. Words. This is the hat that they are going to use for most of the run. Any other hat is going to be slow. You're also going to see runners pick up 5 pawns here. That way they can access She Came From Outer Space right away instead of doing level 2 first. Only reason we do that is so we can get the Brewer's hat and have a much easier time on the next 2 levels. Get kind of having a hard time there, but he did not forget to grab... I think he never mind, he's at 5. I thought he almost forgot a pawn. She Came From Outer Space. Our job here is to become all muddy, scare a mafia guy, take his lunch money, and get his timepiece. But we're also going to be grabbing a few different yarns so we can craft that brewer's hat. Ooh, Dylan getting stuck on there. Well, it's going to be a little weird when you run up on them in this game. So what Dylan's about to show off is the duplication trick. When you take damage and pick up either a ticket or a rift token, it will count as 2 instead of 1. Now, yeah, we do not collect rift tickets at all, but it definitely helps with token. Reverse that. Tokens, but it helps with tickets. English language is hard, guys. Don't learn it. Anyway, this does not work on yarn, which, tragically enough, we would have used if we could. Go in here, stitch the next hat, and have my stream buffer. That's fun. Excuse me while I try to... And now I just get a blank screen. I apologize for my delay, folks. Gonna use the regular stream for this. So what's gonna happen, yep, there it goes, is that Dylan has to pick up these pawns because we need him to access the level later on. Weird Mafia guy here can drop between 3 and 5 pawns each time you scare him. You want to get like 4 or 5 every time. I fortunately don't know his pawn count. Muget's just getting to the same area. He's even getting some pretty good luck on his pawns. Still quite a bit behind, though. He's got to make up that time. So Dylan now is going to enter the first boss level barrel battle. Sorry about that. Not a whole lot to say about this level. It's going to become a 4-minute auto-scroller. Stream keep buffering. Say again, like, she's just gonna, as fast as humanly possible, get their pawns and just waste time while Donkey Kong on top throws barrels at him.
See if girl can handle this.
You want to try to avoid taking damage during these kinds of sections because that does cause heart pawns to spawn.
Stand still. Do not think about avoiding barrels.
So you'll see some of them just kind of mess around, change hats, have hat kit taunt, all that fun stuff.
Heavy What's up, little punk?
Muget's just getting into there. This is the reason we grabbed the Brewer's Hat earlier, is so we can beat the Mafia guys quite a bit faster. It deals more damage, and it gets you a longer range. And now it's just gonna finish off Mafia guy and grab the timepiece, get out of here. Now, one of the nice things about Hat in Time is that there is a built-in cutscene skip that we can use. This is not one of the cutscenes we can skip with that, but if we return to Hub, it'll skip all the same, thankfully. There we go, let's see if that works better. The intruder alert just appears whenever a new character enters your spaceship. Most of them you can avoid, and one of them is based on RNG, which we'll get more into as the run goes on. You see, Dylan had, considering their timers are not exact. So that's why there is that time discrepancy, and Dylan did start slightly earlier. So entering down with the Mafia here, instead of going all the way to the bar, jumping up and getting onto the roof, we're just going to jump on this chair, jump on the light, and grab the thing of crabs. We need this to hit the glitchiest button in the world. I'm gonna go on a tangent here and say I despise that button. That has killed me not killed me, but wasted far more time than I'd like to admit. One of the first major skips of the game is coming up. I don't know if Dylan is gonna go for it or not. 82 Pont's not a bad place to be. Also, yeah, he's going for what we call fight skip. By jumping in between this wall here, he's going to possibly skip a fight. Though he's having a hard time with it, so he might just give up. No, he's still going for it. This is a good a good chance for Muget to make up that time loss. Dylan, I respect the fact that you keep going for it. Might not be the time. Yeah, he's not going to go for it anymore. So this is what we would have skipped, which is a small cutscene, and then a fight between two Mafia guys. So Mafia Boss here is one of the big pieces of RNG in the run. He has a few different attacks, and we want him to not do the sandbag as often. You're guaranteed one sandbag per... Lost my train of thought, I'm sorry. You want him to only do 2 sandbags in the entire time. You could get 3 or 4. 2 is much better, though. Dylan actually seemed to get some pretty decent luck. So now he's on phase 2, which is the last major phase we deal with. Ooh, Muget actually going for fight skip. He did a pretty decent job. And Dylan got the best RNG you can on that fight. That was pretty good. He lost some time trying to do fight skip, but that helps quite a bit. Still ahead of Dylan, but only by a little. So by running to the right and pulling out the Brewer's Hat, he was able to skip the entire last phase, which is really slow. And he is out of there. Dylan's still trying to get through the fight. I believe he is in the middle of phase 1 still. Yes. So this is the part of the run where you might see runners do a little bit different actions. There are two different levels he can go for. Either the first vault, or not vault, the first time rift, the sewers, or golden vault. Really doesn't matter which one you go for, it's just runner preference. And Dylan's gonna go right for the sewers first. By diving on this house here, he can get directly into the sewers. Close enough. That thing is a little bit of a pain to get into, in my honest opinion. So, if you've played Mario Sunshine, the time rifts will look familiar to you, especially some of the platforms that are coming up. The thing about them is you want to get the best cycles you can. Dylan actually getting a really good cycle here. And that's really about it. He's out of here. At the end of every time rift, there's a slot machine. And depending on what he lands on is RNG. This is what you want to avoid. You do not want to get a music disc. It only wastes 3 seconds, but you do get that intruder alert. Now the good news is, if he gets another remix, he'll never see the intruder alert again. So, it's not big, but it definitely helps to not deal with that during the run. So now he's going to go to Golden Vault. This is this level revolves entirely around those tickets we saw in level 2. There's 2 different strategies runners can go for. You're probably not going to see the harder strat in here, but what it's called, it's double do. By doing a sprint double jump, which is tech I personally do not know how to do yet, he could get to the second ticket he's about to come up to, take damage and collect 2 instead of 1, then just go into the final ticket, instead of doing it the way he did. See, Muget is having the issue where it comes to bad cycles, and now he has to redo the entire thing. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Dylan has to make sure he has 100 pawns before finishing the level so he can do heating at Mafia Town, and he barely got them. So now he's heading on to, honestly, one of the more annoying levels in the beginning of the run. Muget getting out of there. Let's see what kind of RNG he gets. Also getting a remix. So they both lost the same 3 seconds. So no real big change there. Here in Heating Up Mafia Town, what's happened is Mustache Girl, who was our friend but now is our enemy, turned on all the faucets and flooded the entire town with lava. Our job is to turn them off. This is another level. There's 2 different strategies people go for. Again, I'm not sure which one the runners are going to go for, but I'll explain them as the time comes. Dylan is going for the harder strategy, which, I don't know the official name for it, but I just call it Double Death Warp. And what he's going to do is, after hitting the 3rd faucet down here, he's going to die, which is going to reset him, but put him closer to the next faucets to do. And then he's going to do 1 more Death Warp coming up. There is an older strategy where you would turn around here, go through a cannon, and that would put you through, or put you closer to that other faucet. It's not that much slower, but this route is definitely faster. That faucet he just jumped on is the one we saved for last. And you do not want to die after hitting the last faucet, because you do not get a checkpoint there. Also, the lava under there is really weird, considering he was able to stand on it without taking any damage. I did not see Mugen's pawn count. I want to say he's at 100. Now this Death Warp that Dylan's about to do is one that's been in the run for a long time. He's just going to hit it twice and fall back down into the lava. And now he's just gonna go get the last faucet, jump back so we can get the pawn timepiece. Now, fun fact, this is actually one of the few places that the PS4 and Xbox One version's faster, because the timepiece will appear right down bottom instead of having to get into the cannon. Most of the time, it is not any faster, though. Now that Dylan's collected the timepiece, he only has one more timepiece to get in Mafia Town until we move on to Chapter 3. We are not going to do Chapter 2 until much later in the run. See, I want to say Mugen is going for the safer of the two strategies. The last level that we unlock in Mafia Town is cheating the race, but we're not going to do that until the end of the run. I think Dylan forgot what he's doing. Oh, Dylan forgot to get the bazaar, so he is headed into Chapter 3 now. I hope he realizes that. Nope, he remembered. There he goes. Yeah, you do not want to forget that timepiece. So much like the Sewer's timepiece, the Bazaar timepiece he's going for is very timing based. I wish I had more to say about them. So I guess I'll take this time to talk about some movement options they have. Most of the time you're going to see runners using the sprint hat. One of the other options is dive boosting, which is the fastest movement besides sliding. But you don't get a whole lot of chances to slide in the game. He's going to come over here. He's got a good cycle, so he's going to have no problem collecting that timepiece. And Dylan is headed up to finish up heating up Mafia Town. Because Dylan messing around a little bit, he might gain some time here. Another new remix. But you see, this time, now he's not going to deal with the intruder alert, thankfully. So Dylan's under contractual obligations. There's a major skip here. I'd be surprised if either runner went for it, though. Let's find out. No, he's not going to go for it. So the skip I'm talking about is bag skip. By climbing up the tree a little bit and doing some single sprint jumps, he'd be able to skip this entire cutscene, which saves a good 40 seconds. It's a really hard skip to do, so the fact that he didn't go for it is understandable. Even some top-level runners have a hard time. And my co-commentator has made it. Konosumi here.
Hello.
How's it going, man?
Doing fine. Apologies for being late, but looks like this race is going pretty nicely so far.
It's okay, I only flubbed up a little bit. Dylan's all the way in contractual obligations. Mugen is on Bazaar.
Okay.
No bag skip today.
Oh no. I wonder if Muget will go for it.
I'd be very surprised if he did. He's still working with a 1 hour 27 PB. So that's a bit rough. But I'd have hell of respect if he tried it. So our job here in contractual obligation is we're gonna kill some fox spirits. Because we're the bad guy, don't you know?
Yeah, we're just sacrificing souls.
They want to die, so it's like kind of okay, right? I don't know about you. Is throwing things like as annoying to others as it is to me? Because I feel like I can never throw things where I want them to go.
Yeah, I mean, throwing the cherries can be challenging at times.
Oh, Dylan's going for the death warp.
Yeah, see if that works out for him.
So one of the nice things about Chapter 3 is that you can access most of the timepieces from contractual obligations. And by killing himself when he picks up the timepiece, it'll just load him close to Subcon well, instead of having to load back into the menu. But if he messes this up, that's a bit of a time loss.
Oh, and he barely gets it.
Man, I get so nervous watching anyone do death warps. Though that one's not as bad as the one later in the run. So it looks like Muget did not go for bag skip. Completely understandable.
It's definitely like one of the hardest skips in the game. Completely understandable.
How long did it take you to learn bag skip?
Total, it must have taken me around 4 or 5 hours to learn it, and I still haven't mastered it.
Does anybody truly master bag skip?
I don't know. Seems like many of the top players can get it pretty consistently.
I don't know. I remember Spy getting world record without doing bag skip, so...
Yeah, that's true.
So what Dylan's trying to do here is jump dive into this wall, so it'll boost him to the top of the well. Took him a few tries, but he did get it. Timing's a little bit weird, because if you do it too late, you're going to fall into the Marth hands. You do it too early, you're just... you're not getting anywhere. This is the reason we do Chapter 3 first, is to get the hook shot that Dylan just got. And he's basically just going to escape the wall as fast as possible.
This level right here it's definitely one of the most fun levels in a run.
You think so?
Yeah.
I can see that.
I love the vertical aspect, and hookshotting can be quite fun, especially with the route Dylan's using.
Yeah, that's what I do wrong. I keep going forward and go the long way around instead of going backwards. For those who don't know, I'm still kind of learning the game. My PB is 56, so I'm not as good as, say, Konosumi or most of the runners you've seen in this tournament. So because I didn't do back skip, Dylan might do a little trick here. When the contract menu comes up, he can still move around when using keyboard and mouse. He picks up the timepiece, he can return the hub, saving a good 3 seconds. Yep, he's going for it.
Nice.
I have no idea why that even works.
Yeah, it's so weird. I don't get it either.
Was that patched out at any point?
I'm not sure.
So the next level Dylan's going to go for is Vanessa's Manor, which we can still access even though we didn't get the contract for it. Nearly entered the wrong level there. Queen Vanessa's Manor actually has one of my favorite skips because of how dumb it is. We'll get into that when the time comes, though.
Definitely a fun reason behind that skip, for sure.
Muget is has just entered the Subcom well level, and the reason they take the time to throw these 2 paintings in is we need the wall that they block down for 2 later levels. If we didn't do this, we'd have to either A, come back and do it, or B, do 2 really slow boss fights. Either way, don't do it.
So you'll notice that Dylan entered Queen Vanessa from a different act, and basically you can just run over right to Vanessa's area without getting the contract first.
What he was supposed to do there is blow up all the walls with cherry bombs, but we could just platform over them. For some reason, there's holes low enough.
For those who don't know the context of Queen Vanessa, it's a horror-based level. It's very scary, where you're being chased around by an evil queen. But Dylan's about to do a skip in this level that skips all of that scary stuff, so you don't have to watch it. And in a speedrun setting, it's also kind of slow and annoying. So it's definitely a plus that it's skipped in this run.
In the beta, people used to complain about Vanessa's Manor because of how slow it is. And back then, it was worse than in the final game because there's 3 whole floors. But now we can just crawl through some barrels and that's it.
Yep,
You skip the scary and the slow.
go right through a hole and you're right at the attic at the very end.
I just love the fact that the devs added that. Was that because of the speedrunning, or was that because people got scared?
They said it was because people got scared. So it might be a mix of both. But then again, you know, it's not, the hole isn't very easily seen. Especially when your camera's like that.
Because, like, you think about it, it's like, it's for the kids. Well, kids gonna think to crawl between them unless they pull out the camera badge.
Yeah, that's the part I find weird about that. But still, it's a good option if you have kids and you don't want them getting scared.
Oh yeah, for sure, because it's actually pretty scary.
It's very terrifying on a casual playthrough.
Especially if you're not expecting it. Dylan there loaded into Vanessa's Manor so we can access the next of the time rifts, which is the... I always want to call that one sewers, but that's pipe. Not a whole lot to say about this one, it's just good timing and one of the few reasons we need the hook shot.
This level is also heavily based on cycles. You see these gears here. If you don't get here quick enough, you can risk missing the third hook shot that Dylan will be doing. And it looks like he might get it. Oh no, he missed it.
But that's not too much of a wait. That could have been a lot worse.
Not really. But from here on out, you can just basically sprint to the finish. There's a lot of hook shotting involved for this level.
And now Muget's headed into Vanessa's Manor himself now. Quite a bit of a difference, but there's still plenty of time for him to catch up to Dylan. There's a few different places where your run can die.
Yeah, some of the later levels can be, you know, it can change everything.
Chapter 2 is an evil level.
Indeed it is.
So in case you don't know, they've both already gotten their remix of the run, so they've already lost those 3 seconds. Of course, they both lost on the sewers one, so no time lost there, really. Have you had a run where you didn't get a remix?
Maybe, but I can't recall off the top of my head.
I nearly had one, but then I got it in mailroom. And
I
I'm
don't
annoyed
really
at
pay
that because
attention to that all too much.
Swar cursed me for that one. Also, yeah, that's pretty fair.
You need to find the pipe.
So Dylan's going to be going for the next rift here, which is in the Subcon village. And we'll have to see what strategy he goes for when he tries to get on top of the building here. There's a few different ways you can do it. You can bounce off the spiders, or you can do a very precise series of jumps and wall climbs.
He's going for the spiders.
Yep, spider. Definitely one of the easier ways to do it.
There's an even easier way. If you homing attack all 3 spiders, end up on the roof to the right, you can just dive jump to the left one. It's the easiest, but it's also the slowest, so probably don't do that.
Very time consuming.
Village Rift, I'd say, is the one that has the least to do with your timing, or your cycles at the very least. Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Yeah, you got the cycle on the spinning platform, as well as the other one right there.
I'd say besides those 2, I can't think of anything else. What we're supposed to do here is platform around and just climb the stairs to the back, but all you have to do is hit the bell and jump for the platform. Or you can just dive into the timepiece. Nice first try, though. Going back to Vanessa's Manor for a second, one of the skips that the runners can do is jump onto the open doors and jump over a cutscene trigger, and that saves a good 7 seconds. Dylan got it earlier, but Muget unfortunately had to walk into it. And now A Hat in Time is a third-person shooter, where we shoot presents at little kids.
So yeah, this is the only mission in the game that is definitely faster on keyboard versus controller. because you have to aim all of the mail at the little minions here. A lot more cumbersome on a controller.
Yeah, when doing it on a controller, not only is your controls inverted, but it's also a lot slower. Most runners you see will play on controller. We actually have at least 2 or 3 keyboard and mouse only players. This is not a game I can imagine playing like that, though.
The keyboard and mouse controls aren't really that bad, but I do prefer controller.
See, I've been told that before, and I don't want to say I disagree, but when I've been playing platformers basically my entire life with controllers, I just can't imagine keyboard and mousing it.
Yeah.
There's a few different routes you can take to get through this level, but you want the last one you get to be right in front of the Snatcher there, so you could possibly save some time.
Yeah, and it looks like he missed a few and had to backtrack a little bit at the end.
But he did get the timepiece. So it just lets him go back to hub, much like in Well. And Dylan is on to Chapter 2, which is the last chapter we do in the game. Sorry, fans of Alpine Skylines, it's just really slow.
Yeah, all the missions are so long, and there's also another long opening cutscene. Which unfortunately is not good for speedrunning.
If you want to see Alpine, you gotta watch the All-Axe or 100% run.
It is an amazing chapter, though, with really great visuals, level design, and chapters are really fun, or the acts are really fun.
Welcome to Metal Gear Bird, where Hat Kid will sneak past all the birds and the cameras, and while having a finger gun. No pairs of sunglasses, though.
So here you're just infiltrating the Dead Bird movie studio, and you have to make your way all the way to the end without getting caught by the penguins and the owls. Some of the penguins can be really easy to avoid, but some of them later can be a real problem if you're not careful.
Yeah, thankfully, most of the birds give you a small grace period, so that if they catch you, you have a few seconds to get out of their line of sight. There's at least 2 birds, I want to say, that just instantly catch you.
And those are nicknamed the Terminators.
Ooh, Dylan got caught by a non-tamed Terminator bird. That's going to cost him some time. Also, get him a higher build. For those who don't know, the build doesn't actually mean anything.
This level has some really fun platforming, too. You can do some really neat jumps involving some of the bags coming up here.
When you hit these bags, you keep your momentum, so if you dive boosted into them, you keep quite a bit, or you get quite a bit of distance.
Right there, he just did the Death Warp, which allowed him to access this area a bit earlier. And now he'll be doing another sequence break. Oh, uh-oh.
Or fall into the void. Oh, no, I made it.
That was a good recovery. But if you jump on the electrical box there, you can jump over on that little billboard thing and then just go right to the end.
Now this penguin here is the Terminator bird. Again, if he sees you, he will give you an instant damage and a higher bill.
There's no leniency with that bird at all. So in this cutscene here, you'll notice that if you're familiar with the game, it's not as long as it should be, and that's because he's combining multiple cutscenes into one. That's a nice drawing he did on the passport.
Some runners you'll see do just all sorts of drawings. During the Calithon run, the runner Chocolate went and did a whole drawing of their mascot. And I think Kona here just recently posted his art on Twitter.
Yes, I spent about 30 minutes making a drawing of Miner from Miner Ultra Adventures in the Passport editor. It's really fun to mess around in it. It's basically MS Paint, but in a Hat in Time.
Now, you're not going to see it in the run, but when you go back to your main menu, that replaces your icon for the title screen. See on Muget's screen, he's back in the village one. He did not need to land on the green platform to pick up the piece. He was just able to dive into it. But that is kind of risky to do without hitting the platform. Welcome to Owl Express, one of my favorite levels casually, and it's kind of okay for the speedrun, because you skip all the things I like about it. So what's going to happen here is that it's a murder mystery, and we're supposed to find out who did it. But we're going fast, so we say, nah, we don't need that evidence. We know who did it. And just mess with some triggers.
This is definitely one of the most broken levels in the game because you don't really do anything in the intentional way. Every part of this is definitely manipulated in some aspect. Aside from this opening sequence here.
If we could find a way to skip that opening sequence, my god.
Yeah, that would be amazing, but I don't know how that would be possible.
Is it not able? Are you not able to do the skip that he's about to do before doing the cutscene?
No, I'm pretty sure you can't.
I'm sure that would have been tested before. So what I'm talking about is he's going to jump on that bookcase, dive jump over here, and hit a button we're not supposed to be able to hit until much later in the level. Which skips the majority of it already.
Yeah, that alone is a huge sequence break. You're not supposed to be on the second floor of the train by now. But that's not the end of it. It gets even better from here on out.
So, despite the fact that you're told you have a time limit, it's not really a time limit, it's trigger-based. So, like, you're gonna see the time go up by quite a bit once he gets out of this room with the key. And back in the Metal Gear Solid 2 room.
So from here, he's gonna make a pretty long jump from this metal thing all the way to the button. And then he'll jump from the button onto a door and then get on that final area there.
Or you can go the safe route and just go to the left, but he did that. Went for the door, which is faster, but if you miss that door and put the key in the hole, you're wasting some time.
And that's it. The level's pretty much over from here. You just have the ending cutscene. And you don't get any evidence in this run. You can only convict the conductor for the murder. But that's a good thing because all the endings lead to the same outcome. So ultimately, yeah, it doesn't matter who you pick. But each ending has a really clever little storyline. I think it'd be fun to go to see what all the endings are about.
My favorite's the Hack Kid ending.
Yeah, that one is really fun. I like that one too.
Muget's going for a different yarn than I think I've seen any runner ever go for, which I'm wondering what his route's going to be.
Perhaps it's a backup yarn, maybe.
It's a good possibility. Going back to AliExpress for a second, there is an achievement in that level if you if you do that without collecting any of the evidence, you get an achievement. So if you don't have that and you're a speed runner, you've done something wrong.
So this is picture perfect here, and it's another fast-paced platforming level.
Dylan's actually going for an older strat, involving taking this path, getting 2 pieces of yarn, and getting all the diva points. What most runners do now is actually the reverse of this, because by activating that DJ token in the back there, it spawns the dog back at the beginning, so it keeps us from having to have an extra conversation with him.
In this mission, you basically get a fan club and become the Max Diva. It's really cute.
I mean, I'd be a Hack Kid fan. She's heckin' cute.
Who wouldn't?
Mustache girl.
That's true. Probably the only one in the anti-Hack Kid club.
So we haven't talked about it yet, but the whole lore of Chapter 2 is that these birds are fighting over who's going to make the better movie. And... You okay there, Muget? Oh, there it goes. So we're going to see, or try to make it so that Conductor wins. It doesn't matter a whole lot, but with Conductor winning, it saves, like, half a second? He has one less animation than DJ Groups does.
Yeah, it's definitely a very small difference, but it is a difference. So you do want to make sure that he wins.
Now, welcome to a speedrunner's favorite level, where you are just going to try to go through here as fast as you can and keep Conductor from blowing up his train. Because he's a madman.
This one's definitely a classic. It's been here since the beta. Definitely one of my favorite levels to play. It's so fast-paced and fun.
Back when the game was in beta, the Hat in Time devs held a speedrunning contest for this level. Because they knew, like, this would get their attention.
So yeah, you'll see a lot of wacky stuff going on with this train. Got saws coming through, train cars falling apart.
Acid, lava.
Everything you can think of.
Conductor loves his train, that's why he's blowing it up. For the sake of the art. There's a few different ways to go about getting onto those platforms. Dylan went for, I don't want to say a risky strat. Did Muget forget where to go during Al Express? And now he's in the air.
Not sure what's going on his feet there.
I think he didn't grab the key yet, that's what happened.
Yep, he didn't get that. And then the yarn, and then he's all set to go into the front of the train.
So each level you do get ranked on how well you do. For Time Rush, it's how many pawns you collect and how much time's left on the clock. There are times where I go out of my way to grab time just so Conductor wins, but you shouldn't need to go that much out of your way.
At the end there, you can basically propel yourself so you can be right inside the timepiece as it spawns, but Dylan miscalculated that a little bit and was off to the side. And I think up next he might be doing the parade or gallery. I don't know what his route is.
Gallery.
Okay.
It's a bit too early for big parade. This is another part of the run where there's a few different levels they can go for. It really doesn't matter. But you need to make sure you have 30 pawns for Train Rush, 150 pawns for Big Parade, and then 50 more pawns for cheating the race back in Mafia Town. So the pawns they collect are very important.
Yeah, this level especially is really cycle-based.
Ooh, Dylan went for the risky strat there, but he got it. Was that an SGJ?
Probably. You do a lot of... I wasn't really paying attention to the SDJ.
I believed in you. You know this game better than I do.
But no, SDJs are really fun. Basically, you're sprinting, and then you let go of it, and then press the jump button at around the same time. There's a couple frame window, and when you do that, you can get an extended sprint jump. And that allows for some pretty clever sequence breaks.
That's one of the tricks that's required to do the bag skip we talked about way back in Contractual. Muget is going for the safer strategy, just going to the left, waiting for the elevator. It is slower, but it has less chance of you putting a key in a hole. Poor Dylan got caught by one of the owls. If you've played Psychonauts, the owls are a reference to the Milkman Conspiracy, but I forget what exactly their names were. What is it, the G-Men?
I haven't played Psychonauts, so I wouldn't know.
Highly recommend it. It's a good game.
I've heard a lot of great things about Psychonauts. I know the creator of the game, Jonas Karlov, loves that game so much.
Fun fact, there is actually a Psychonauts mod for Hat in Time, where you get Raz's hat.
And that was developed by Jonas himself, the creator.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's an official mod. It's really cool.
Doesn't make anything fast, though, so we don't touch it.
Nah, mods are not allowed in the speedrun.
So, not time. Words are hard. The Owl Express Time Rift is another one that's based on cycles. If Dylan had gotten there where the third button was up, that would have been the fastest cycle. So he's gonna waste a little bit of time, but not too much.
This level can be hard, especially for beginners, because there's 2 mandatory sprint double jumps you have to do right after each other.
Unless you just want to hit the buttons.
True, but that
buttons
does
are much
waste
safer.
a little bit. It does waste a little bit of time if you choose to do that. Oh, looks like Dylan's getting messed up by the gears here.
The gears, let's say they're just raccoons, or are they actually tanukis?
I think they're raccoons.
Yeah, so Dylan's opting for the slower route of just hitting the buttons and climbing up the intended way. When you're falling off as often as that, I can't say I disagree with that. So now Dylan's headed for Big Parade, which is a 3.5 minute auto scroller now?
Yeah, about that. It's definitely one of the longest levels in a run. Second longest to the finale, I believe.
And then, unlike finale, we can barely make this one faster.
Yeah, Dylan might be going for a death warp at the end of this. That will help get that amount of time down.
I don't think he crafted the ice hat.
No? Okay.
No.
He might be doing just a regular way, which isn't that much slower. Because if you do a death warp here, you can basically respawn without having to go back to the hub. And the death warp is pretty hard, so I don't blame people for not going for it.
Get ready.
Big Parade is probably the worst level in the game, for like many different reasons. It's an auto-scroller, the Cosmic Marios that are behind you have stupid knockback, the floor is lava, some of the floor is electricity, and you have rockets thrown at you at some point. It's a whole lot of not fun. But we still do this level because of the fact that this, along with the next timepiece, is still faster than any other combination of 2 timepieces that we could do instead.
So here Dylan's going to be making sure he has enough pawns to unlock the final mission in Mafia Town. He'll be revisiting that a little bit later. He's going to need around 50.
Muget has enough ice for the ice hat, or yarn for the ice hat. So I don't think what he picked up was a backup.
I wonder if he'll be going for it then.
That's pretty risky.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens, what he chooses to do. So this level isn't completely an autoscorer because you have to go around and press buttons and spin dials every so often. But every point after and between that, you just have to sit around for a bit. And you can spend that time getting pawns as well as just moving around and having fun with the parade behind you.
Now, he does need to make sure he gets out of here with 50 pawns so he can unlock cheating the race. If he doesn't get getting out of here, he has one more chance to get it. But it's a little bit slow. You see now, at random points, the floor becomes electric. So that's even more damage you can take.
And if you die at any point during the parade, you have to redo the section you're on.
Casually speedrun this level it isn't that great. But it's magical, so I'll give it points.
True. It's a fan favorite among the speedrunning community.
Is that what we call memes now?
It's a big meme, but we all love it.
That's fair.
Deep down in our hearts, we all love Big Parade.
Fun fact about this level, there is an achievement based around it, where if you do not fall into the penguin mob, you get one. I didn't get that until I actually started speedrunning this game, because I do not go back to Big Parade casually. Those owls give crazy knockback for no actual reason.
Yeah, you just go flying back.
Now, that actually does work to our advantage, because that's what lets us do 2 death warps. We'll find out if he goes for him.
It's a blessing and a curse. So these 3 pillars are going to be all fairly close to each other. You can just kind of go in an L-shaped path and get them all pretty easily. So now, since Dylan's not going to be going for the death warp, he's just going to be sitting around for a while, getting himself in a position to grab the timepiece as soon as the platform stops sparking and all that.
So fun fact, this and Picture Perfect are both set on the moon, so Heck Kid's jumping physics are a little bit different on these 2 levels. Does that transfer over to the moon time rift?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There are DJ Grooves tokens littered about, and those do get you extra points. But since we don't want Grooves to win, we just ignore them.
Uh-oh.
Nah, he's fine.
He fell in the crowd, but he has enough life to continue on.
Yeah, even if you die in that phase, you'd have to go all the way back. But it looks like DJ Grooves is winning this competition.
Dylan still has a really considerable lead over Muget here. As long as he plays safe, he might be able to secure the win here.
Now Muget's headed into the hardest split of the... Oh, wait, never mind. It's not the hardest, it's the Moontime Rift.
Yeah. The Moontime Rift can be weird because there is an SDJ you can do if you want to go super ultra fast.
Does Muget not have enough pawns?
Oh,
he
he
is still a little short.
Okay. He didn't need that much though, so that's not a lot of time lost.
Worst comes to worst, you can abuse Rumi back in the spaceship. For every timepiece you have, Rumi will give you a pawn when you hit her. Like, don't do that. That's rude and it's slow.
Oh, he almost got bumped. That was pretty close.
There is one more Death Warp you can do in this level thanks to the Owls. Which will just let you skip the final, not the final, but one of the last roulettes. I don't believe Dylan's going for it, though. We see Muget just died in the level. Thankfully, there are no lives in this game, so it just puts you back to the checkpoint, but it's slow.
Yeah, it looks like Dylan's about to finish up here.
Now he's going on to the hardest split. Muget seems to be having a little trouble getting to where that timepiece is.
But he
got it this time.
Yeah, this upcoming level's by far the hardest in the game. Like even the top runners, you know, choke on this a lot.
You look at it the wrong way, you are going to fail. DJ Grooves won, so he's automatically going to be a little bit slower, but, you know, we can live with that.
That's it. There's your timepiece. Dylan did an excellent job on his movement optimization there.
Couldn't have done it better myself.
Oh, he changed dies. That's interesting. I don't think we've seen a runner do that before, mid-run.
They usually just change hats, which none of the popular hats have shown up yet this run.
And there's a couple different hat skins you can get for your sprint hat. One of them is the Ladybug, the other one's the Dino hat, and there's also a few more.
I like
the updated
Aviator.
version. Aviator? Yeah, that one's definitely my favorite.
Oh, I'm glad it's not just me. I thought I was just, like, the only one doing it. So this is Cheating the Race, which is the actual well, I'd say second hardest level. What we're supposed to do here is get the Time Stop hat, which is a hat that takes so much yarn it's not worth it. And then we just skip the rest, and we just cheat the race. But we're not cheaters.
Looks like he'll be crafting the ice hat in this cutscene. He'll be needing it for the next segment here. So if you go behind the starting line and hop into a cannon, you can get to the end faster than the Mafia. And there's not a lot of room to mess around here, so you have to be really consistent to get this.
You can actually go. I think he might have.
Ooh, barely, maybe. Yes.
Yeah, he got it.
That was really close.
If you go forwards, it's slightly more consistent and it's slightly faster, but it's also harder, so going backwards is the better of the two options when you're starting out. Actually, Conan, do you go forward or backwards on there still?
Oh, backwards. I haven't learned the forward strat yet.
So Dylan is headed into the final time rift, the mailroom. This is one of the reasons we still play on the 1.0 patch, because this time rift isn't here anymore, it's in the lab. And I think we need the Dweller's Mask to get it. So
yeah, it's just not worth it.
Not at all. The Elvis birds here don't actually hurt you, but they give you insane knockback, so don't touch them.
Just like the owls, and these birds are hyper fast. Like the second, the second they notice you, they just sprint after you. So now Dylan looks like he'll be heading up to Finale, I think.
Yep. Got scared early in the run because he seemed like he forgot the Czar, went to unlock contractual obligations, but he remembered to go back for it. So he's got this little section here where he's going to play as Mustache Girl and go and steal all of Hat Kid's timepieces. She's kind of rude. Muget's doing one of the strats to keep the owls off him. He's just crawling around in a circle. Keeps them from bumping into you and keeps you from accidentally running into the crowd.
So the finale's in the attic.
So we're supposed to have the Dweller's Mask, the Ice Hat, and the Brewer's Hat to get into here. But we can just jump the fence. We don't need no Dweller's Hat.
Just want to give a big shout out to our king who lives in the attic.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah.
So fun fact, the finale's on the moon. Or not the moon, the sun. I don't know how going through time let her do that, but she did it.
So yeah, basically Mustache Girl took all of Hat Kid's timepieces and used them to reverse time so that she is the leader. And basically, she's judging everybody on what they have done. And either letting them go or executing them, and we have to stop her from doing that, obviously. Dylan's going to be going for a skip called Finale Skip, which allows him to get on the roof and basically just slide his way to the end. This works because there's a hole in the wall at the very start that was just left open on complete accident, so we can access that area very easily.
Now there's a few different ways to go about the ceiling. One of the ways is slides that Dylan's going for, which is the fastest, but it's also the hardest to pull off. If he gets bonked, he's falling down into the lava. Most new runners will run across the ceiling and dive boost, which is much safer.
We'll see how Dylan fares on these. You have to avoid 2 chandeliers, as well as a green set of chains, as well as an additional invisible hole, for a total of 4 overall obstacles.
It's very easy to soft lock during this and make you have to return to hub and start all over.
Yep, he got everything just fine. He has to just climb back up here in about 30 seconds or so. 15 seconds. So after this, you have the fight with Mustache Girl, and there's 2 phases to that. But before he does that, he'll need to clip back inbounds, which is fairly easy, thankfully. There's a cutscene trigger that extends out of bounds, and that will place you all the way back in. However, if you do miss it, it is very, very dangerous, and will lose you a lot of time.
There's a few different ways you can load into this. Safer way is what Dylan just did, running across the top, but you can also just dive for it.
Diving is by far the fastest, but it's also the riskiest. So notice Dylan getting double hits on Mustache Girl here. You want to get as many of those as possible.
It is possible to get a triple and even quadruple on her, but it's also pretty difficult. Before we get into the final part of the fight, I'm going to say, sorry for your eyes, there's nothing we can do about the bitrate.
Yeah, everything's flashing and spinning, and no amount of bitrate can truly solve this on stream. So you're going to see Dylan put on the Brewer's Hat for the first time in a long time. This lets him get some hits in from a distance, and will also let him get in hits where he's not supposed to be able to. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Actually, never mind, he's in that phase right now. So in this phase, Hat Kid will Mustache Girl will teleport a lot.
and you'll be able to throw the Brewer's Hat at her to get some hits in.
Sometimes the Mafia Ball there will miss, and you have to go chase it down and hit it again. And that can be kind of annoying.
So this is one of the biggest pieces of RNG we have in the run. The amount of time she spends out of the shield is random. Could she go right back into the shield after a hit? She could let you hit her a few times. It all depends. See, like that kind of thing can happen quite often. It just doesn't it depend on what attack she uses next.
Dylan only has 1 health here, so he needs to be very careful not to die. If he does, he has to redo the entire fight over again.
Now, if he makes it out of this phase, he's completely safe.
All I saw is a couple more to go. His luck isn't looking too good here. Actually, that wasn't that bad.
He made it.
Yeah. So from here on out, he's home free. He doesn't have to worry about dying because it's actually impossible to die from here. You have infinite lives from everyone sacrificing themselves to save, to assist Hat Kid in destroying Mustache Girl. It's very sad.
Nobody in this room really likes Hat Kid, but they all hate Mustache Girl. So they're willing to kill themselves to get her heart pawns. It's kind of morbid if you think about it too much.
Yeah, it really is.
Hat Kid is surprisingly dark if you're paying attention. Especially Chapter 3.
Yeah, you can see definitely her dark side in Murder in the Owl Express if you get her ending. She says something like, "The voices in my head made me do it."
Again, the Hat Kid ending's kind of my favorite. Second favorite probably being the owl killing himself. So now during this phase of the fight, it's really just hitting her as fast as you can, not losing track of her. Trying not to get hit yourself, because even though you are invincible, it still wastes time. And he's done, getting out of there with about a 54. Not PB, but pretty close.
Yeah, definitely a good job by Dylan here.
And he got it.
Final time.
That's only 30 seconds off PB, so that was a really good run by him.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he wants to join us for a post-match interview, but until then we'll be shifting our focus over to Muget, who is working his way through.
So because Muget won, his next match will either be against Chocolate or Headstrong. Both dangerous opponents for him. Muget is getting close to the end of the run, heading into the award ceremony. He also got DJ Grooves. It's a little rough.
So after the fight with Mustache Girl, you can choose to save or destroy her. And it looks like Dylan is going to be destroying her here by not throwing down a timepiece.
You'll see some runners give her the timepiece if she gave them good RNG. Most of us just say, nah, heck that girl. And Muget is now heading into cheating the race. Hopefully he does not have to try more than once. This is an easy run killer if you're not good at it yet. Did Muget craft the ice? There he goes.
Yeah, there he goes. That's the most optimal time you want to craft that hat during that cutscene.
It's either then or during the ending cutscene of Train Rush, but you're only doing that if you want to do the Parade Death Warp. I think I saw Muget bonk once or twice, so I don't know if he's going to get it.
He's cutting this really close. Might not be possible. No.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, he missed it by only a few feet, so
It
He's gonna
is
have to
hard.
drag it. This is not an easy level to learn, that's for sure. Takes a lot of practice to get consistent at it.
There is an alternative level people can do for this, but it's slow.
Yeah, it's definitely recommended to just, you know, just learn this one. Muget's cutting it close again. We'll have to see where he's at exactly.
No, I went too far to the
No.
left.
He got stuck on a tiki torch.
That Mafia guy can get in the way if you're unlucky. At least
I've had
that
runs. I've had runs before where he just steps right in front of me and throws me off course, and then I fail it.
See, even high-level runners have a hard time achieving the race. Still got to do it though. If he didn't dive boost there, it's gonna be cutting it close again.
Yeah. A little better pace than the last run, though. Alright, how is he gonna do it? Oh,
No,
maybe.
got hecked. Ooh,
Barely
right
missed
there.
it. That was so close.
Mafia guy hecked him. Speaking of which, on Dylan's screen, he actually just passed by the Rocket Mafia guy during the end credits.
Get ready. Go!
Alright, Muget having a better start here, by the looks of it.
Yeah, it's pretty important to get the movement exactly right on this level, because you have such a small window of opportunity.
Muget's on good pace here, he just has to get these final dive boosts and slide his way to the end.
I think he's got it. Yep, he got it.
Well done by Muget. He'll be moving on to, he doesn't have that much left to go, he just has to do the mailroom rift, and then finale.
Yuget can still PB here, because his PB is a 1 hour 26, 27. So he can save quite a bit of time here if his next two levels go well.
He can absolutely PB.
There's the Toilet of Doom on Dylan's screen. That is one of the slow boss fights we avoid. And Queen Vanessa.
Yeah, we don't see Queen Vanessa either, at all.
Honestly, one of the things that kind of disappointed me about the any percent, and that's more just a me thing, is that a lot of the things I really like in this game we have to avoid because they're slow. Like most of Al Express, I love the Snatcher boss fight music, but we don't get to hear that.
Definitely the best track in the game by far.
Thank you, I'm glad somebody else agrees.
It's so good. So fast-paced, so high energy. I love it.
I highly recommend anybody watching this that's not even interested in speedrunning, pick up a Hat in Time casually. It's a really good 3D platformer. Especially if you're into GameCube era 3D platformers. Or heck, just pick up the soundtrack. This is a game worth supporting.
Absolutely.
Muget is headed into finale now, so let's see how he does. Isn't the finale skip patched out outside of 1.0?
Yes, it was like one of the first things patched out, I recall.
It's funny that that got patched out, but a lot of the Al Express skips never did, or they did, but then got patched back in.
The thing about finale skip is that casuals can really easily see that hole.
That's fair.
You don't have to exploit anything to get behind that wall. And that was the problem. I think if it were a lot more like intricate, more complicated to do, might have been a different story. But you know, they have to keep the casual players in mind as the casual experience.
Wonder what Dylan's going for.
Yeah, it looks like he might be doing something. I wonder if he'll like show off the cherry flying thing you can do.
When you stack a cherry on top of something else?
Yeah, Spy was doing that in my race yesterday, and that's really cool.
How did your race go?
I almost PB'd.
Nice.
I just choked on the parade death and lost a minute.
Oh, he's gonna go talk to Snatcher. Does he want to fight Toilet of Doom?
Oh yeah, he'll be
He
showing
might
that
go
off.
fight Toilet of Doom, okay.
Yeah, if you want to see that boss fight, pay attention to Dylan's feed for a bit here. It's a really cool boss fight.
This game also has some really good boss fights just in general. Like, yeah, we only see 2 of them, and they're honestly not the best of the game, but actually, no, I'd still take them over Conductor and DJ Grooves.
Yeah, well, I'm interested in seeing how Muget's going to be tackling Finale, because there are a few ways you can do it. A few alterations you could do for your strats.
I don't think he's going to make it. No, he's going to have to die here.
No. It can be really tricky getting through that hole if you mess up at the start.
You can also get lucky and clip under the lava, so then you can boost back in while you're invincible, and only take 1 damage instead of the usual 2. Ooh, he got warped back. Yeah, he's got to take another death here. Isn't there a quick kill on Toilet of Doom?
There is. I'm pretty sure.
I've not seen the all timepieces run yet. I see Muget just did what I was talking about. Since he clicked under the ground, he has 3 health going into the Mustache Girl fight, which is pretty safe.
One thing that some runners do is because, you know, this area is very dark and can be hard to see where you're going. You can turn up the brightness in the game to make the details of the environment a lot more clear.
If you play on low settings, it also makes things really clear.
I think in specific, it's the lighting quality that makes everything a little brighter. The shadows are a bit less pronounced, I guess.
That would make sense. So Muget is going for the safest of the 3 strats and just dive boosting. There is still a hole he has to avoid, and if he doesn't, that is an automatic soft lock. Because right where the hole is, there's a Dweller wall. And since we didn't get the Dweller's Mask, you're kind of stuck.
And if he does that, he has to start all the way back from the start, going up to the entrance and doing Finale skip over again. So unlike the slides, you don't have to avoid all the obstacles, but you have to jump over that invisible hole we talked about earlier. Looks like he got it. If you opt to do the slides instead of the constant dive boosting, that saves about 30 seconds.
Did Dylan get stuck inside the Toilet of Doom?
Oh my gosh.
I think he's screwed.
He did. He died.
Rip. So one of the neat things about the boss fights in this game is that if you die, they take less hits to go into their next phase, even though you start at the beginning of them. Just a way to get you keep moving instead of getting stuck on something. Muget going for the riskier strat of diving into the cutscene. But he got it.
Barely got it.
I said next. Oh, it's you.
All right, nice.
There is a glitch involved with that scene where if you don't mash fast enough or if you don't skip at the right time, the camera will get all screwed up. It can be annoying to find Mustache Girl after that, but you can either fumble your way and find her or trigger the bad ending. Triggering the bad ending is also good if you're not comfortable fighting her first phase yet, because that gives you an automatic checkpoint.
The bad ending cutscene is also pretty fun to watch.
Hat Kid gets so scared, she just runs away, but then everybody else is like, nah, you got this, girl. And that's it. Dylan got flushed. Thanks, Cyclone. Muget is still on PB pace, and unless something really weird happens, he should PB this race.
Absolutely. All he has to do is make it past his first phase here. He'll be all set.
Back to the Mafia Ball phase. So the reason it's DJ Grooves on the Mafia Ball, not actual Mafia Boss, is that after you fight the Mafia Boss, Mustache Girl kills, no, not kills him.
What the heck? Oh, she's stuck under the floor.
Oh no.
Okay, it's fixed.
What Mustache Girl did to Mafia Boss was make him into mush and put him in a jar. You actually see him on your spaceship eventually during the game. Again, this game's pretty morbid for an E-rated game.
It's actually E10.
Oh, is it E10?
Yeah.
Still more morbid than you would think.
Yeah, the fire spirits in Zubcon, that's also pretty...
They just want to die. And now to show off some more, Dylan is gonna go fight Snatcher, I assume.
Oh, here we go. Best boss fight.
I agree.
I love the title card for it too. Jenna did a really amazing job with all those.
Yeah, that's one of the nicest things about this game is the title art for every single level.
That's definitely one thing that sets it really apart from it.
This game is expecting DLC for those who don't know. We just don't know when it's coming. It's like
it may be coming this year, maybe, but they haven't announced anything yet, so it's all.
I'm gonna say that's the only thing we assume is that it is that it's 2017.
2018, you mean?
Oh yeah, is it 2018 anymore? I lost track of the time. I'm dumb. Leave me alone. Muget is headed into the final phase. So yeah, this is definitely PB for him.
Yeah, there's no chance of death, so unless his game crashes, he will PB. That's the only thing that could stop him right now.
Hang time's pretty stable, all things considered. The only time I've ever had it crash is loading into She Came From Outer Space.
Really, I haven't had that happen before.
I've had that happen at least 2 or 3 times since I started speedrunning.
Wow, that's really weird.
Yeah, I know, right? So funny thing about the Snatcher boss fight since he's on screen, he does not intentionally turn himself blue unlike every other boss fight. So he's invincible. Until you make him blue.
And you can see, if you pay attention to the dialogue, you can actually see Snatcher breaking the fourth wall with the blue stuff. I find that really funny.
I know, Snatcher's probably my
right
favorite favorite character in the game.
Yeah, he has an amazing voice actor, and his dialogue is really funny to listen to. And Mugen just finished up the final boss.
Ending with a 110, that is a good 16-minute PB, so congratulations to him.
That's good in my books. 16-minute PB, heck yeah. That's time.
Well, congratulations to both our runners on a great run. Hopefully we can get them both in here for an interview.
Yeah, we'll see if Muget or Dylan is up for it. It'd be nice to hear their thoughts about their performance.
There is also a quick kill for Snatcher if I know a little about Hat in Time that I know.
Hello, Muget.
Hi.
How do you feel about that PB?
I feel so good about that one. I didn't think I was going to get it after the first couple levels.
It looked a little rough at first, but especially at Welcome to Mafia Town, but things improved.
Yeah, I think I got like 10 or 12 golds on that one.
Very nice.
That's amazing, man.
I
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Just got to get back to the grind, keep on going.
Yep, pretty much. I want to get the sub 1 hour now.
Let's see. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Anything else you want to mention about your run, Muget?
I don't really know. Like, there was a moment where I was gonna go to Village Rift, and I just looked around because I'm like, where am I? I got lost on that one for the approach.
completely understandable.
Forest is a very big level.
Oh, there's sometimes when I'm playing the game, think I'm about to load into another level, and start doing the movement for that before realizing, wait, this isn't that level. So I get you.
Yeah, and then I looked at my whole all of my splits, and I was just like, wait a minute. Oh crap! I did parade before I did owl express. Oh man, now I gotta reset my goals for that one. And...
You know what? I did the exact same thing when I started out. Where I went to parade completely forgetting about the Owl Express Rift, so I, again, completely get where you're coming from.
Right. But thank you guys so much for, doing all the commentary and whatnot.
Yeah, of course.
I hope you enjoyed your time in the tournament. Made it pretty far in, all things considered.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have made it this far, but you know what? I'm glad to be here.
Hey man, we take those.
Yes. For sure. So
We still got time. Dylan, do you want to join us? Though we are running a little low on time. Looks like they're getting ready for another tournament coming up.
yep.
But yeah, anyway, be sure to check out the upcoming matches. The next match will be on May 30th at 4 p.m. EDT.
Who is...
Following...
Go ahead.
That will be against Selfie Compacto versus Max. That's going to be a fun one. And then after that will be Pulsar versus Afterimage on June 2nd at 4 p.m. EDT.
So yeah, definitely stick around and keep watching. We're getting to the final legs of this tournament, but this is when the match is going to become really fun.
Yeah, you'll see some really high-level players just battling it out. It's going to be a really, really fun thing to watch.
With that being said, hey, thank you all for watching. I hope you had a fantastic time watching this race. Anybody else have anything they want to add before we're gone?
That's all I got, really.
I'm good.
How about you, Muget?
I'm good.
Well, have a wonderful evening, ladies and gentlemen. Take care.